Good morning. I want to call to order the committee meeting on Ways and Means. Committee Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Assembly members Anderson.
Present.
Backus.
Present.
Brown May.
Here.
Dickman.
Here.
Hafen. Hibbets. Howdigi.
Here.
Koenig. Mosca.
Here.
O'Neill. Torres Fawcett. Watts. Yeager. Chair Monroe Moreno.
And I am here. Will you please mark Assemblymember Torres Fawcett present as she arrives? She's doing a bill hearing in another committee. Thank you all for joining us here in Carson City and in Las Vegas and those joining us online. We will have public comment at the end of today's meeting, and if you'd like to call in for public comment, that number is 888-475-4499. The meeting ID is 828-608-10348. And we ask that you please limit your comments to 2 minutes. I will remind everyone to turn off or silence your electronic devices, especially your cell phones. We are here for a bill hearing, and we will just have one bill hearing, and that's Assembly Bill 238. And for those that may be new to committees, members will be following along on their laptops, so please don't take their inattention as they're looking at their laptop thinking they're not paying attention. They truly are. And because I am a co-sponsor of this bill, I will be turning the meeting over to my very capable vice chair, but I will say there's a lot of interest, and you can see the room being filled down south. We are going to limit testimony in support, opposition, and neutral to 30 minutes each. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my vice chair.
Thank you so much, Chair. And I just want to echo, if we're going to do testimony at 30 minutes each in support, in opposition, and neutral, sometimes, and we did this when we had the privilege of chairing chairing revenue and overseeing this bill, is if you're hearing prior comments that are the same, ditto works just as good, so you give the opportunity to others to also give testimony and support, opposition, or neutral. With that, I'm happy to open up the hearing on Assembly Bill 238 and welcome up the co-sponsors as well as Mr. Walker. Welcome, and I do believe we also have some people on Zoom as well.
Good morning, Vice Chair and members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to present Assembly Bill 238, the Nevada Studio Infrastructure, Jobs, and Workforce Training Act. I am Assemblymember Sandra Howdigi, and I proudly represent Assembly District 41. I am here to highlight the significant economic and employment benefits this legislation will bring to Nevada. I know we are a fiscal committee, and we are here to speak about the fiscal note, but I do want to go over some numbers before addressing our fiscal note. These numbers speak for themselves. 19,000 good-paying union construction jobs, nearly 18,000 permanent jobs with an average salary of $118,000, and an additional $3 billion in annual economic activity. The construction of the Summerlin Production Studios and associated projects represent nearly $2 billion in capital investment, all private dollars. An $8 million investment in talent by building the Nevada Partners Vocational Training Studio, a $6 million investment in arts and film relating training initiatives, a $400 million statutory requirement on construction spent by June 30th, 2028 to qualify for tax credits, $500 million per year spent on production and content creation from Sony and Warner Brothers alone, not including any other independent production taking place outside of the studios. All this spending injects an average of $360 million a year into the economy during construction and $3 billion a year once built. Assembly Bill 238 is structured to provide long-term benefits for the state. The transferable tax credit program is performance-based, meaning no tax credits are issued unless the required statutory investments and job creation benchmarks are met. Before I walk the committee through the fiscal note, I would like to turn it over to my co-sponsor, our Speaker Pro Temp, Assemblymember Danielle Monroe Moreno.
Thank you. And thank you, Madam Vice Chair and Committee, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today in support of Assembly Bill 238, the Nevada Studio Infrastructure Jobs and Workforce Training. As you know, I'm Assemblymember Danielle Monroe Moreno, proud to be the chair of this committee and serve as your Speaker Pro Tem. I'm here to emphasize the critical role this legislation will play in diversifying Nevada's economy so that new job opportunities are available first and foremost to Nevadans. This is an industry that generates billions of dollars nationwide, and with a favorable climate, strategic location, and talented workforce, Nevada is primed to capture a significant share of this market. Production companies that benefit from the tax credit program must hire at least 50% of their below-the-line workforce from Nevada residents. Beyond job creation, the economic chain reaction of this new industry will be substantial. Local businesses, restaurants, equipment rental companies, set designers, and transportation services will all benefit from the increased economic activity. Additionally, a $6 million investment will be made in small businesses throughout Clark County's redevelopment agency, delivering benefits so that local entrepreneurs and small business owners share in the economic growth this industry will bring. We are building into this legislation and through partnership agreements, curriculum and apprenticeship programs for K-12 and higher education students, including 10,000 to 15,000 square foot facility at UNLV with millions in dedicated funding stream and guaranteed internships for students. So I'm very excited that we are not only creating tens of thousands of new careers with this bill, but also building a pipeline for the next generation of talent. This is a real-world example of why we have been working so hard adding the arts back into STEM curriculum for our schools. Nevadan artists and writers will be creating the future of the film industry, and because of these initiatives, both in this bill and what we've done by investing in education over the past several sessions, the next Greta or Denzel or Sydney may well be from today's Nevada students. AB 238 is a forward-thinking strategic investment in Nevada's future. It ensures that our state will not only compete in the lucrative film and television industry, but also set a national standard for local training, diversity, and workforce development. We have a rare opportunity to reshape our economy, strengthen our middle class, and build a new industry that will benefit Nevadans from generations to come. My work on this bill didn't start last week or last year. I was actually invited my freshman year to a conversation with the film industry about coming to the state. This bill is unlike any other tax credit bill this body has reviewed in the past, and I urge your open-mindedness as we go through it. There are some amendments, and it's a work in progress, but I know we're not here to talk about the policy. This is the fiscal committee. So with that, I'll turn it over for the bill walkthrough.
Thank you, and Vice Chair. To go over the fiscal note, we have one fiscal note from the Governor's Office of Economic Development, the Film Office, in the amount of $206,126 to help fund 2 additional positions. We have spoken with the Film Office and asked if pushing out the regulatory timeline as done by the amendment would delay the hiring, but it would be at their request that they hire the people as early as possible to get ready for the intake. We have the Film Office available down in the Las Vegas hearing room to help answer any questions. And before we go to questions, Chair, I do want to address the amendment. The amendment that you have before you is what was presented during the policy hearing of Assembly Bill 238, but because we moved it without recommendation, it wasn't adopted in the policy committee, so this is what would be adopted when Assembly Bill 238 gets a work session. I do also want to note that I have really appreciated all of the conversations I have had with Governor Joe Lombardo on Assembly Bill 238. And with that, Vice Chair, we are ready for questions. We do have Mr. Matt Walker with Howard Hughes here with us in Carson City, and we have Guy Hobbs on Zoom available to help answer questions.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And thank you for your presentation. We'll go ahead and start with Assemblymember Watts.
Thank you, Vice Chair. So I had a question about the construction phase and what the estimated tax revenue would be from the development of the infrastructure on the front end.
Matt Walker on behalf of Howard Hughes. Guy, if you could get that answer started, I'll reinforce what's components of the development are driving those revenues.
Good morning, Guy Hobbs. Happy to address that. We've actually produced that information in the form of a table, which is kind of difficult to read to you, but we've identified the fiscal, the tax revenue production each year for the construction phase. Is that what you're focused in on?
Yes, please. Thank you, Mr. Hobbs.
Mallory, I might ask you, joining me is Mallory Richards and also Kevin Plensler, colleagues with PFM. Mallory, it might make sense to just read the bottom line, the combined tax totals for each of the 8 years of the construction phase, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I can do that. So the combined total of the sales tax revenue associated with the construction phase is going to be $70.6 million. The combined total of the modified business tax revenue of the construction phase is going to be $5.2 million. And the combined total of the property tax revenue associated with that 8-year construction period is going to be about $45.4 million in the aggregate.
If I may just add a footnote to that, that is the combined total of each of those three revenue sources over the construction phase. Once any element of the project is put into operation, and one of the earliest elements that would be put into operation would be the studios themselves, that goes into a phase that we refer to as stabilization. And that would start generating operating revenue once it's put into operation. So there's a number of these project assets that are delivered over the 8-year period, but once each one is completed, they start also delivering operating revenues, which would include those that Mallory mentioned, plus commerce tax and room tax. Those, as those elements come on, they would start producing revenue. So the numbers that she just provided to you are for the construction phase only.
And Mr. Hobbs, I just wanted to jump in and just do a follow-up question and return back to Assemblymember Watts with respect to that $70.6 million in forecasted sales tax. Is that the state's portion, or is that the total state and local sales tax? And then also, does that include use tax?
To the last part of your question first, again, Guy Hobbs, it would include use tax. And Mallory, correct me if I'm wrong, that includes state and local taxes.
Mallory Richards, correct. That does include state and local taxes. The total to the state is $16.9 million over that 8-year construction period.
Thank you. Another clarification I was wondering, so would any of those taxes be subject to any potential eligibility for other existing abatement programs or reduction at any point through the tax credits that are envisioned in the bill?
Matt Walker on behalf of Howard Hughes and Chair Backus, do you mind if I go direct to members just out of sake of time? Thank you. So Member Watts, thank you for the question. This does not, the bill language specifically precludes us from participating in any statutory programs that may exist for job creation that are available to just general economic development projects. And we are committed to following through and making sure that that's clear in the amendment as well. Last answer, and I apologize. We will, of course, participate in the standard property tax abatements that apply to all properties in this state, but that is the only abatement anticipated at this time.
Thank you. And then the last question I had, can you just make sure that I'm clear on this? What fiscal year would the new infrastructure-related transferable tax credits come into play? The 90, and it's now under the amendment, it's $95 million.
Matt Walker on behalf of Howard Hughes. You got a lot of takers today. I apologize. The tax credits would not be accessed until the 28-29 fiscal year. So it's a bit of a rolling start. As you'll see, the statutory deadline for the office to develop regulations and start accepting applications is under the amended version is June 1st, 2026. And so we'll have applications start to roll in, folks getting productions certified and in the pipeline, hiring folks doing that production, but they're essentially getting a credit reservation that's not going to be cashed in until on or after July 1st, 2028.
Assemblymember Sandra Howdige, for the record, I do want to add, I think it's important to note that, yes, the tax credits will not be able to be drawn down until July 1st, 2028, which means this has no impact on the current budget.
I'll go to Assemblymember Mosca.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for this. In trying to understand the fiscal and the funding mechanisms, I know at the Clark County level, there was always a discussion and a commitment for a workforce training site in East Las Vegas, specifically in Assembly District 14. Can you talk about where that would be here?
Matt Walker on behalf of Howard Hughes. You're correct, Assemblymember. That is a commitment that we have made and kept. I feel like it's important, not to get into the policy, but it's important to have access and compatible programs in areas of the community where folks can access them that may not see themselves involved in the film industry. Our intention is for that financial commitment in the bill of $6 million to go to Clark County, and that Clark County will use that to support job training, specifically in the east side. And we're happy to follow up, and I believe that the amendment the sponsors are working on is going to make that even more clear.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Assemblymember Anderson.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the presentation. So I have a few questions, but I'll just ask two, and I will keep it to the economics of it all. So the first question, I so appreciated the answer that you just gave to one of my colleagues when it had to do with when the tax credits will start. And it's not until June 1st, 2026, or 2020.
July 1st, 2028, Assemblymember Sandra Howdige.
Thank you so much for that. I knew I had written down one of those dates wrong, and it seems to be both of them that I wrote down. So 2028. So let's just say, so this is important to know, this is let's just say this situation. Let's say that we get yet another economic forum with this similar outlook that we had just last week. Is this date set in stone, or will there be discussion about possibly pushing it back again due to the fact that offering these tax credits will have an impact on our ability to forecast to the future?
Assemblymember Sandra Howdige, for the record. Thank you for your question, Assemblymember Anderson. We are still working on a conceptual amendment to further put guardrails into the bill. We do not have it finalized yet, but it's something that is in drafting that will address three key points that we've heard from colleagues in the Assembly when it went through the Policy Committee. We do not have that amendment to present before you, but something that we will have completed before our work session.
Danielle Monroe Moreno, for the record, but that amendment will be ready for the work session.
Thank you so much for that, because that is a biggie. May I ask a separate question, Chair? Oh, thank you. So my second question has, and again, I'm going to try to keep it to the economic portion of it. Do we know how much the return of investment would be coming back to the state general's fund, the state general fund, not to the county where it's taking place, but to the state general fund, because I've had some different conversations, as I think all of us on this committee have, that for every dollar that that is coming from the state general fund, there's a return. But there's some confusion if that's coming back to the state or if that's coming back to the county, or even sometimes to very specific areas of the county.
Thank you, Member Anderson. Matt Walker for the record. I'll kick this over to Guy Hobbs and team to give you a comprehensive answer, but I'll say what I'm most excited about from the revenue picture is the $720 million in economic output and $17 million returned to the state's education fund in this biennium before we even get into the broader picture of the program. But Guy, could you please take it from there and respond to Assemblymember Anderson's question?
I'd be very happy to. Again, Guy Hobbs. I think there's a couple of different ways to look at return on investment. And, one of them is just isolating the fiscal side of things. That would be revenue, that would be support committed by the state by way of the transferable tax credits and revenues returned directly to the state. And as you point out in your question, there is a difference between the state general fund and the state education fund. For both the state general fund and state education fund combined, the return, and I should say this as well, all of the projections that we have done with respect to revenue generation have been done on a very conservative basis. And I'd be happy to speak with any of you about some of the assumptions that we use to arrive at these. But the return that does not include local revenue would be 20 cents per dollar committed by way of tax credits to the state general fund. Now that's the fiscal return. The economic return is a bit different than that. And I was just looking for, one of my several documents here that focuses on the fiscal return on investment, but that is quite a bit higher. That gets to between $34 and $56 for each dollar committed by the state. And of course, on the economic side, that's the value of economic output that's generated by making this investment in this project. So again, you have two different returns to consider. One is the direct fiscal return, and the second is the economic benefits resulting from the investment that the state is making. Hopefully that addresses your question.
Assemblymember Sandra Howdige for the record. I do want to let the committee know there is an economic impact PowerPoint that we submitted, that Mr. Hobbs created, that we submitted to the Revenue Policy Committee. So it is available on NELIS. We will have it forwarded to the Ways and Means Committee so that it's available as an exhibit for this committee as well. But it is on NELIS now, that goes through all of the economic impact.
Thank you so much. And I have a feeling that I will be giving you a call, Mr. Hobbs, if possible, and then also further discussions. Thank you, Chair. I do still have a few more questions, but more than happy to do so offline.
Thank you so much. And then I have a few questions, and I'm not sure if anyone else may have some questions to follow. Oh, let me start with Assemblymember Hafen first.
Thank you, Chair, because my question goes right along with my colleagues regarding the economic impact. And I think what you just stated is for every dollar the state invests, we get the 20 cents back to the general fund, and the economic impact you said was roughly 30-something dollars. But my question is of that economic impact, I know that there are various ways of how the credits can be applied, but part of it is that 50% of the production or less, actually, in some instances, could be outside of the state. And I know there's also some other sections where labor can be outside of the state and jobs outside of the state. Are those jobs outside of the state and the additional portion that's filmed outside of the state also eligible and for the tax credits? And are those figures that are out-of-state workers and out-of-state time calculated into that economic impact or not?
Matt Walker, on behalf of Howard Hughes, I'm going to get started and then turn it over to the sponsors. A production needs to meet all the qualifying markers identified in the bill. They need to put in an application with the film office and be approved before the commencement of the project. A project may call for filming in London or elsewhere, but as long as it's meeting the markers of its activity in Nevada, it can qualify, and only the qualified expenditures that happen in Nevada, the Nevada wages, the Nevada production spend, the Nevada restaurant spend, would ever qualify as for film tax credits. So that's not to say that some activity may not happen in other markets, but in no scenario does the state incentivize activity that happens outside of the market. Assemblywoman.
Thank you, Assemblymember Sandra Howdy. For the record, I think my co-presenter kind of answered your question, but I think I wanted to stress that in the bill there are statutory requirements so that in order to even be considered, because you could film outside of Nevada, in order to be considered for the full amount of tax credits, 50% of the production has to be filmed in Nevada. So 50% of the production has to be filmed in Nevada, and 50% of the below-the-line employees have to be Nevadans.
Apologize, Majority Leader, but I'm looking at page 8 of the drafted amendment, and I know it's unofficial, but it actually says, but may not have 50% of their production days in Nevada. So could you just clarify that? That's where my confusion's coming, and the reason that I'm asking the question is on the fiscal impact, where we're seeing that for every dollar invested, we get 20 cents back to the general fund and the large economic impact. I just want to make sure that we're not giving these tax credits on portions that are outside the state, which I believe you already stated. But I do see where they're eligible for these tax credits, and so I just want to make sure that it's very clear that it's the work done in Nevada, the employees that are in Nevada, because I do see in here that it does mention that they don't even have to have the 50% requirement under this proposed amendment. So I just would like clarification so I could feel a little bit better about that. Thank you.
Matt Walker on behalf of Howard Hughes. We are, Assemblymember Hafen, we hear you loud and clear, and we are committed to only qualified production spend in state via a third-party audited financial statement, actually checking the receipts, not just taking our word for it. That's how the program flows, is that all of those audits, both on the hiring side and expenditure side, go back to the film office, and then they certify an amount of credits that you have earned pursuant to that application. It is in no way a set it and forget it or trust me program. Lastly, I'll say that there's always going to be some element of spend that may need to take place to make a production happen. Let's say it's a Elvis biopic. They need to secure those music rights, and they're going to secure those music rights where they are, which is probably California or elsewhere. But the principal photography days, the action, the things that's putting those below the line workers and restaurants and vendors to work, that the majority of that's got to happen in the state for the film to qualify.
Thank you. And so my quick question can be to you all, and then I have two questions for fiscal staff. You indicated the 19,000 jobs at the beginning of the presentation. I assume those 19,000 jobs is if all of the construction takes place over the 8 years. Do you know the number of jobs, like basically for the 400 million mandated build would be just in year one, what we're looking at for construction jobs on the ground for year one of the $400 million production build?
Matt Walker on behalf of Howard Hughes. Chair, thank you for the question. You can think about it in approximate terms. I'll give you some percentages, and then I'll follow up with some actual data points. But the studio capital spend essentially represents about 22% of the capital spend that takes place in the project as a whole, because the project consists of not only the studio infrastructure itself, but also the entertainment-oriented development, the compatible commercial uses that are going to spring up over that 8-year period. Additionally, from an employment side, because that was your direct question, it's about 23% of the employment, which I believe is around 2,872 folks working on that project.
Thank you for that. I just wanted to clarify that. My next question is going to be for fiscal staff. Under our existing law governing film tax credits, GoEd recently issued $4.2 million in transferable tax credits to WrestleMania, where the total budget equated $33.7 million, including $19.7 million paid to non-Nevada residents, both above and below the line, and slightly over $3 million paid to Nevadan workers. With AB 238, what would be the tax credit that could have been issued? And I will go to Mr. Nakamoto for that.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Michael Nakamoto with the Fiscal Analysis Division. We may be setting a record for the number of times we're referring to WrestleMania during a legislative session. But just to get a kind of a grasp on the existing film tax credit program and what the proposal in Assembly Bill 238 means, I went through and kind of took a few of the recent applications and kind of ran them through. The information for these applications is available on the GoEd website through, there's public information through the Film Office meeting packets. And so I took a few of them, and I took WrestleMania specifically because it is the largest film tax credit that has been issued under the existing program. And as the Vice Chair noted, the total expenditures that were on the application were approximately $33.7 million. Of which 23.5 million were noted as qualifying, so it was 74.3%. And that 23.5 million broke down as 15.5 million was the non-resident above-the-line personnel expenditures. Those wrestlers apparently make a lot of money. There were approximately $2.7 million of below-the-line personnel expenditures for Nevada residents, which would qualify under the existing program at a rate of 15%. I'll back up and say that the above-the-line non-resident qualifies currently at 12%. And then there were approximately $5.3 million of other direct production expenditures that range from catering to hotels, production trucks, and what they note as miscellaneous expenses. They didn't, I didn't get too far into the weeds on that, but I added them up. It was about $5.3 million, and those would qualify at 15%, which then added up to total credits issued of just over $4.2 million. The other part of that being that because at least 50% of the below-the-line personnel under that application were Nevada residents, they were eligible for an extra 5%. So the 12% and the 15% respectively went up to 17% and 20%, thus getting to about $4.2 million. So what I did is I kind of went through and separated those out again and ran it through what would be for the non-infrastructure provisions in AB 238, and that's the back half of the bill. So for the non-resident above-the-line personnel, so the wrestlers, the $15.5 million that qualified under the existing law would actually increase to $17 million. There is a provision in the bill that says that that there's a $750,000 per person wage limit, which triggered and reduced the $17 million to $15.5 million. So that is removed in this bill. There is a separate calculation relating specifically to producers, but that $750,000 is removed. So $17 million in non-resident above-the-line wages would qualify at 30% and equal $5.1 million. There is the $2.7 million of Nevada below-the-line personnel expenditures that previously earned at 15% would now earn at 30%, and that would be approximately $807,000. The other eligible expenditures that the $5.3 million that were earned at 15% would now earn at 30%, and that was approximately $1.6 million. So that those two together, it's about $8 million in direct expenditures in the state, your resident wages and then the resident expenditures. The non-resident above the line is people who don't live in Nevada, so we presume that money would leave the state. So then the other part that would be added is the non-resident below the line personnel expenditures, of which there was about, it was roughly equivalent, it was about $2.7 million. Those currently earn at 0%. They would earn about $800,000 under this proposal because they now earn at 30%. So you put all of those together, the other thing that this bill does is there's currently a $6 million per production cap, but that is removed in this. So the end result is that WrestleMania under the this bill, let me find the number, would be $8,318,397.60, or approximately $4.1 million more than they would have received under the existing law. And I hope that answers your question, and if there are additional questions, I can try to answer them. Thank you.
It does, thank you. And then also, looking ahead, I know these tax credits are increasing, I think, by $110 million, because we already have existing tax credits on the book. I know they kind of accumulate, but just looking at the base amount and what the increase is through AB 238, understanding, this past session, the governor's budget started in a structural deficit. An additional tax credits of $110 million each year would require what type of revenue growth from revenues to the general fund to keep up with our state's operating appropriations?
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Michael Nakamoto with Fiscal Analysis Division, for the record. $110 million right now, give or take, is approximately 1.8% of the state general fund after tax credits. So let's just say, for example, that with the existing credits in place, and you want your revenue after tax credits, that is what is available to actually be budgeted, to grow by 3%. Beginning in FY 2029, you would actually need your base revenue before tax credits, so your economic activity would have to grow by approximately 4.8% to support 3% additional revenue per year.
Thank you. And one other thing, did anyone else have any other questions? With respect to the fiscal note, Majority Leader, did you say the fiscal note was going to get reduced from the only fiscal note we have is for like operating expenditures for our state is from GOED from the film office for $206,000 and $126,000 for this fiscal year. Did you say it was going to get reduced?
Assemblymember Sandra Howdy, for the record, no, but we do have Kim here, Kim Spurgeon with the film office, to help answer questions if you have some. But no, that's not getting reduced.
Just want to make sure if it was getting reduced, if we got that appropriate on the record. We have a last question, I think, from Assemblymember Brown-May.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Thank you. I think this is for Mr. Nakamura. I'm just curious to know, do we have the numbers relative to how many people attended WrestleMania? What was that impact? How did that look? How many people attended? Who came in for it? Do you have those numbers?
Assemblymember Brown-May, Michael Nakamoto, for the record. I do not have any estimates on the attendance, other than that I know from what I've read that it pretty much sold out Allegiant Stadium for 2 consecutive nights. And the capacity of that facility is at least 60,000 people. So that is, I would safely say that it was probably 120,000 people, although over the 2 days, and I would presume that many of those were non-residents who flew in or drove in from out of state.
Thank you. Follow-up, Chair. Thank you. Do we then have any fiscal analysis? What's the dollar impact relative to the state as a result of that event? Do you have any idea?
Assemblymember Brown May, Michael Nakamoto for the record. I have not done the analysis, and I do not know of anybody who has done it yet, given the recency of the event.
Thank you. And just one last piece. We didn't anticipate WrestleMania would perform to that level. Does anybody know? Like, was that a pre-planned event that we expected that revenue to come to the state?
Assemblymember Brown May, Michael Nakamoto for the record. No, when we were doing our forecasts for the Economic Forum back in December, we didn't have that necessarily on our radar. So any economic activity that may have accrued as a result of that would have been possibly built into our forecast for May. So it was something that was perhaps unanticipated, but then we were able to recognize and adjust accordingly in our May forecasts.
Thank you. I realize I'm asking a lot of questions that we didn't really anticipate. I'm curious to know what the ticket price of that was relative to what we then anticipate the revenue will be to the state. Thank you so much.
Michael Nakamoto for the record. Assemblymember Brown May, I have heard numbers thrown around, and I don't know the reliability of them, that the average ticket price for WrestleMania exceeded $1,000 per ticket. I do know, because I was morbidly curious before the event, while there were still a few tickets on sale, that you could buy tickets very close to the ring that had a face value of $15,000 per ticket. And, you know, people who are paying that, more power to them. That is not me.
Matt Walker for the record, if I may, Chair, I would just, because of the line of questioning here, I just wanted to add that the way we see the dynamic of events like that changing, should this bill be implemented, and how we see it changing are the impacts fiscally that Mr. Nakamoto very comprehensively outlined, but also we'll see the frequency with which these events will occur increase, and we'll see the amount of local below the line spend significantly increase as we strengthen and grow our crew base through our job training programs and union partnerships. And so I just wanted to make sure that that was reflected on the record as well.
And I thank you, Mr. Walker, because as you can see, the tax credit under AB 238 for this type of program would have been like 8.3 million, which exceeded the local spend. However, I found online WWE stated in a press materials and on its application to GoEd that WrestleMania brings more than 200 million in economic impact. So thank you. I don't think we have any other questions from our members. So I will go ahead and open up testimony in support of AB 238. We'll go ahead and start here in Carson City. Please begin when you are ready.
Mic again, so I think it's on. Good morning, Assembly members. I'm Dean Gi Yoon. I lead the Reynolds School of Journalism at the University of Nevada, Reno. I'm here today to lend my support for AB 238. From my perspective, this is a jobs bill. This bill can increase a dynamic industry and the diverse job opportunities that allow our graduates to stay in our state, to contribute their talents to Nevada's economy, and to enrich our communities. Specifically, for Northern Nevada, Summerlin Studios has committed to providing internship opportunities for students at our university. That means a dedicated focus on creating more meaningful internships and externships right here in our community. These experiences are crucial for launching careers for our students. Our university has continued to build relationships with Sony and Warner Brothers. They visited our journalism school last fall and this spring, and I visited Sony studios in Culver City to discuss shared collaboration projects. I'm also visiting Sony headquarters in Japan in just a few weeks to discuss projects to help our students succeed in the film industry. Passing this bill is an investment in our state's future, an investment in our talented young people, and a crucial step towards a more diversified and vibrant Nevada economy, as the University of Nevada President Brian Sandoval put it in his opinion column in Reno Gazette-Journal. We can build an industry where our graduates don't have to leave. Again, I will state again. We can build an industry where our graduates don't have to leave. Instead, they can choose to stay, work, and thrive in the great state of ours. I want to thank the bill sponsors for bringing this forward, as well as Sony Pictures, Warner Brothers, and the Howard Hughes for their collaboration. Thank you for your time and your consideration. Thank you.
Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you all for hearing. Good to see y'all. It's been a while, right? I stand in a unique perspective. I am someone who has sat in your seats, literally, I think your seat, Assemblymember Henderson. And I have been in the film industry as a film producer, led a small studio, and now I have the voice of the small business community. This bill is really important to our community. And initially, I was in the neutral. It was very supportive neutral, but it was neutral. And I have been able to work with our sponsors and the Summerlin Studios group to strengthen metrics for small businesses and vendors to reflect the demographics of our state, as well as some tweaks to our non-affiliated bucket to make sure that independent producers have as much access and opportunity to also leverage whatever we do with film tax credits. But why should you be supportive? This is really,
Assemblymember
am I 2
Miller,
minutes?
before, no, you're
Oh, okay.
good. Just, you need to state your name for the record. I know it's the weirdest thing for us to do, but go ahead.
I got jumbled in the beginning. Cameron C.H. Miller, President and CEO of the Urban Chamber of Commerce, for the record. All right. Well, why should you be supportive, right? I'm going to stick to my notes so that I can get through all of this. It's really, really smart economic diversification because it naturally complements our main industry while adding new revenue and more recession-resistant jobs. Supports our number one industry, tourism. History tells us that places that appear in movies and TVs regularly see increases in tourism in their region. That's not just going to happen in Las Vegas. That's going to happen throughout the entire state. Resiliency in jobs. This project provides thousands of jobs in construction and then ongoing jobs. I think during the economic forum, I heard someone state that we could see a 1% to 2% decrease in employment, 16 to 32,000 jobs. Well, I don't know if you've seen the commercials or read the deck or heard anything, but they're projecting 17,000 or 19,000 jobs during the construction phase and approximately 17,000 ongoing jobs, not to mention the jobs created by small businesses. Skilled workforce. Our workforce is already prepared to transition into this industry. So we're looking at decreasing jobs with our skilled workforce. We have an opportunity to add jobs that they can immediately transition into. This is really important if families are facing hard situations or we as a state are facing economic cuts. We need to help families insulate themselves. Small business sector growth. Now, this is a special point for me, right? The number of business opportunities, vendors, contractors that have to be involved to support a film project, whether it's independent or through a major studio, is monumental. It will be a boom for small businesses. It gives opportunity for new businesses and to expand other businesses. Then we're the entertainment capital of the world. We should own every aspect of the entertainment business. This gives us an opportunity with the commitments to our community throughout the state to train, develop, and support folks who are interested in the entertainment industry, both in front of the camera, on the stage, or behind. We're raising the next generation of entertainment professionals. And look, one of the best things about this, they got to spend their money first. One of my favorite people called this new money. This is money, we're talking about money and credits for money that we don't even have yet. So if we create something, we just heard $200 million estimated from WrestleMania. We're talking about those types of events that can leverage both, but bring a lot more economic development on top of what the studios will bring in. So there's an element in the projections of economic development that hasn't even been considered yet. So with all that being said, I'm probably over my 2 minutes. I thank you for the time. I will leave myself open with my unique perspective, one of one in the state, for any questions that you all have offline. Thank you.
Thank you so much for reminding everyone, Mr. Miller, that we have 2 minutes for a speaker. I'm going to keep track, but 30 minutes total for support.
Thank you, Chair, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Vince Saavedra, Vince, V-I-N-C-E, Saavedra, S-A-A-V-E-D-R-A, and I am the Executive Secretary Treasurer to the Southern Nevada Building and Construction Trade Unions, representing over 30,000 of Nevada's hardworking families. Before I get into my testimony, as you can see in the South, I have a lot of union brothers and sisters in the construction industry, so I'm going to ask all of them, if you're in support of this bill, would you please stand up to save time so not everybody has to go to the mic in Southern Nevada? Thank you, brothers, sisters. I really appreciate it. Obviously, it's basically, a good percentage of the room there. Those aren't just Nevada's construction workforce. They are Nevadans. Those are people who wake up every day, go to work, strap on the boots, kids go to school, buy houses, trucks. They contribute to Nevada's local economy. I love my job. I love the people I represent. I have the best job in the world. It's the hardest part of the job is having to get calls from those folks and saying, "Hey, brother, when's the next job? When's the next project? My kids are hungry. School's starting. They got backpacks to buy, things to, and there's no work. Everybody wants to join an apprenticeship. A lot of people don't know, but you can't join an apprenticeship without a job. Nevada's facing one of the highest, if not the highest, unemployment rate in the country right now. I can't stress to you how important this bill is. We all came together. It wasn't easy, but we got the A's done. We got the Raiders done. I'm asking to diversify our economy more. Let's put our brothers and sisters in Southern Nevada to work. Thank you.
Good morning and happy Friday, members of the committee. For the record, Thomas Morley, representing Laborers Local 872, Laborers Local 169, Communication Workers of America, and Teamsters Local 631. I see the Orange Crush out there. Hello, fellas. Good to see you. We're in support of this project. We believe in economic diversity. These are much needed jobs, not just for the construction industry itself, but as well as career pathways for other folks in other trades like IATSE and Teamsters. Thank you.
Good morning, Brad Keating, for the record, representing the Clark County School District. I've been excited to listening to the conversation about WrestleMania all morning. Want to tell you why WrestleMania was important to the Clark County School District, because we had production teams come into our schools and talk to our students. We had wrestlers come talk to our students. We had writers talk to our students, and we had film crews talk to our students. This bill will ensure that that continues moving forward, and our students have an opportunity to experience new horizons, new careers, new opportunities that they don't even know exist today. So that is why the Clark County School District stands in support of this bill and hopes you will do the same. Thank you.
Good morning, members of the committee. My name is Clarissa Cota, Vice President of External Relations, Campus Operations at the College of Southern Nevada. On behalf of CSN and President William Kibler, we would like to thank Assembly Members Haragi and Monroe Moreno for sponsoring AB 238, which will diversify our economy and bring this new film industry to Nevada. Since 1971, the College of Southern Nevada is proud to be the 5th largest college in the country of its type with over 30,000 students. CSN is ready to support this new film industry as we are very proud of our videography and film program. If you are not aware, we have one of the most state-of-the-art programs of its kind in the region, with 500 students already prepared to enter these real jobs in the film industry. CSN is the largest producer of college graduates highly qualified for jobs known as the film industry as below-the-line positions. Our graduates are skilled technicians in film and industry, practitioners who operate the cameras, design the sets, lighting and sound specialists. So since 2014, students in our program have won 63 Student Emmy Awards, the largest number in the state and in the region. That's very impressive, and we're noted nationwide for this. Our graduates find work nationwide, and it would be wonderful to see them have jobs here and keep them in Nevada. CSN is proud of our Emmy Award-winning film program, and we look forward to producing college-ready graduates for this exciting film industry. Thank you.
Good morning, committee. My name is Phil James. I'm the president of IATSE Local 720 in Las Vegas, Nevada. IATSE stands for International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. Excuse me. We are the union that represents all of the people the vast majority, at least, of the people that we're talking about here today, all the behind-the-scenes people. We are intimately involved in both of these bills. They all started in 2013 when we, at Local 720 at 3000 South Valley View, wrote the original film bill. Had it sponsored by Aaron Ford, Maggie Carlton, came through, passed in 2013. In 2015, we realized that having extra as part of the below-the-line calculation was an error because nobody's flying in extras. They're going to use people here. Happened with Mall Cop. We realized that a lot of people were working on that, but none of us. Excuse me, or not enough of us to reach the formula. And they used extras for that. So in 2015, we came back to the session and we filled that loophole. So this is a natural progression of what happened in 2013. These are great jobs, like they'd mentioned in the presentation, $115,000 a year job. I would love to make a job, get paid $115,000 a year. I might have to go back into the field to do these jobs. These are exciting jobs. These are jobs for creative individuals. There's nothing bad about this. Like it was mentioned before, the money doesn't get paid out until the content's created. So you have to actually create the content. You have to build the facilities. You have to put all of this money in to have that content created before these tax credits can go back to these producers. It's not like the Raiders, it's not like Tesla, it's not like the A's. And for that is the reason why we support this bill strongly. And I appreciate your time.
And then after Mr. Wesley, Mr. Harper, sorry, when you finish, whoever's up here, we'll circle back down to Las Vegas just because we've gone over 10 minutes up here.
Thank you, Vice Chair. My name is Wesley Harper. I am the Director of Government Affairs for the City of North Las Vegas. We echo the sentiments that have been already expressed. This is a tremendous opportunity for the state of Nevada, and the City of North Las Vegas is in strong support. Thank you.
Thank you. So with that, we'll go down to Las Vegas, and hopefully whoever was there first, go ahead and begin.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair and members of the committee. My name is Patricia Charlton, and I'm the Chancellor, and I am here today on behalf of the Nevada System of Higher Education to express our support for Assembly Bill 238. I first want to thank the bill sponsors, Speaker Pro Tem Danielle Monroe Moreno and Majority Leader Sandra Hadigi, for their leadership in AB 238. I also want to acknowledge that this body has discussed this industry development over current and past sessions, including the work of Senator Aaron Ford, Assemblymember C.H. Miller, and Senator Roberta Lang. The Nevada System of Higher Education is very excited to participate in support of the workforce needs of our current and future students. This legislation represents a transformative opportunity to diversify Nevada's economy and to integrate our higher education institutions into an industry that offers sustainable, high-paying careers for our graduates. This initiative is not only confined to Southern Nevada, but will collaborate with institutions across NC throughout the state and play an integral role in workforce development, providing students with access to internships. AB 238 offers a once-in-a-generation opportunity to diversify Nevada's economy and to provide our students with pathways to rewarding careers within our state. We urge the legislature to pass this bill and to support the integration of higher education into this exciting new industry. Thank you for your consideration.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, I'm Dr. Constance Brooks, Vice President of Government and Community Engagement at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. On behalf of President Heavey and UNLV leadership, I'd like to begin by thanking the bill sponsors, Speaker Pro Tem Monroe Moreno and Majority Leader Howdigi, for their thoughtful consideration and outreach to the UNLV community, with the understanding that we house the only four-year degree programs in film in Nevada, and thus have many avenues for ripe and fruitful partnerships. I also want to thank and acknowledge the legislators who have supported film tax and its expansion throughout the years in this and prior sessions. Senator Aaron Ford, who is now our Attorney General, of course, Senator Maggie Carlton, Assemblymember C.H. Miller, thank you for your presence and testimony today, former Assemblyman Miller and Urban Chamber President, And then also, of course, Senator Lang, who was very supportive of UNLV and UNLV students. I echo the comments of those who spoke before me. The expansion of film tax credits serves as an opportunistic mechanism for economic diversification, workforce development, educational partnerships, and targeted community engagement, all of which are central to the mission of UNLV. We look forward to participating in ongoing discussions as the bill progresses. With this legislation, we foresee a myriad of opportunities for UNLV, as has been previously discussed. We're grateful for the commitments of entities like Warner Brothers Discovery, who have actively engaged in supporting the UNLV Film School through paid internships and other efforts. It's evident that they value UNLV. We also foresee opportunities among our sister institutions within INCHI, as well as our K-12 partners. And so with that, we urge your support. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Vice Chair and committee members. For the record, my name is Ryan McInerney, Deputy Chief of Staff on behalf of Nevada State University and our President, Dr. Darian Pollard. And we are in support of AB 238 and other efforts to bring the film industry to Nevada. Nevada State has a thriving visual media program, which has seen a remarkable 50% growth over the past 4 years to 165 students. We are eager to integrate these talented individuals into future studio projects and expand our academic offerings to align with the needs of this innovative industry. We look forward to continuing our conversations with all stakeholders and playing an important role in supporting and growing the film industry workforce in Nevada. Thank you.
Good morning, Assembly members. My name is Frederick Wisnicki, Business Agent Ironworkers Local 433. I'm here with my brothers and sisters today in strong support of AB 238. Our job as business agents is to do all in our power to provide representation to not only our members, but also to all in our power, to do all in our power to make sure that our decisions are always in the best interest of their families. The benefits that this bill provide are many, but I will concentrate on the very important task of raising our little ones. This bill will provide mothers and fathers to be at home raising the little ones. We have many mothers and fathers out of state, away from their families, sacrificing family time and time with their little ones that they desperately need in today's world. If we pass this bill, if you pass this bill, it will bring them home. In closing, I ask you to consider all that we face in today's world. This bill will also provide our young men and young women many opportunities through apprenticeship. I would like to answer a small question I heard today about the workforce on these projects. Our job as business agents and union members are to make sure that our members that live in this state are first and foremost to man these jobs. We will make sure, we will give you our commitment that that is done if this bill is passed. In closing, I thank you on behalf of the Ironworkers Local 433.
Good morning, committee members and vice chair. My name is Jovan Johnson. I'm a business representative for Carpenters Union Las Vegas, 1977. And we are here in support of AB 238 for the reasons that it will provide jobs, wages, and benefits. Those are the numbers that we really care about, where you guys are talking numbers, and also the economic diversity and the community wealth. These kids that we sponsor in our Career Connections program, we are in 14 high schools right now. That program allows them direct access to our state accredited apprenticeship program. That allows them to be able to build Las Vegas, and it allows us the opportunity to build the people that build Las Vegas. They can learn here, they can earn here, and they will directly contribute to the community wealth of their own communities right here in Las Vegas. We proudly represent those kids that will come into our union, and we urge you to start this now so that they can start their debt-free careers by the end of this year. Thank you.
Good morning, Assembly. My name is Daniel Hagewood. I'm the representative of the Heat and Frost Insulators Local 135 members and their family. We come in support of AB 238. We urge your support as well. I did all the testimony brought in front of me. Nevada deserves this. Nevada needs this. Thank you.
Good morning, Vice Chair and members of the committee. My name is Daniel Lincoln. I'm the Regional Director for District Council 16. We represent painters, glazers, and floor covers in the state of Nevada. That's a representation of around 2,000 families. The men and women who are in this room with me today are the hardest working men and women of the state. They wake up every single morning, they strap on their boots, they walk out of their door before the sun comes up. And all we are asking for is an opportunity to go to work, an opportunity to provide for our families. And when we have the opportunity to go to work, we are the economic driver of this state. And, we've never asked for a handout. We don't want a handout. My members do not need food stamps when they are working. And my members do not need government subsidized health care when they are working. And my members do not need government subsidized homes when they're working. We are simply asking for an opportunity to go to work. This is a jobs bill. It's jobs that we need. And I strongly encourage that you support it. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair and Assembly members. My name is Jimmy Schwartz, and I represent the ironworkers. When we last met, Nevada led in unemployment. That's still true today. Hundreds of our members are working out of town, missing birthdays, anniversaries, their children's laughter. They sacrifice being separated from families to put food on the tables. Today, I urge you to pass AB 238. Bring my brothers and sisters home. Let them build Nevada's future so they can tuck their kids into bed. Your vote isn't just policy, it's compassion, dignity, and hope for families. Thank you.
Good morning, community. Hi, my name is Frank Mingo. I'm a member of the Local 872 Laborers Union. And I'm here today to ask everyone in this room that supports AB 238, would you please stand up for a second? That means everybody behind me. I was just like, thank you. You can be seated. Now I just want to say this is a chance to diversify our community and to create careers and long-term jobs for all of us. And I just want to say thank you from Local 872.
Thank you for hearing our testimony. My name is Christopher Burris. I'm with Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television Radio Artists. I'd like to thank all of my brothers and sisters who are here in the room and on the radio, the phone, and all the folks in this room who took time to be here. There is no business like show business, and there is no place like being on set. The words of Mr. Cameron Miller and President Sandoval, I'd like to echo them or sing the chorus of them. If we could have the opportunity in front and behind the camera that kids have in places like New York City and Los Angeles and Atlanta, then folks that may be in this room who are going to have jobs working on building these facilities, well, their kids can maybe be the ones that get to benefit from that. So I thank you for your time and opportunity to let you know that.
Buenos dias, Vice Chair Begos and members of this committee. My name is Fernando Romero, President of Hispanics in Politics, and a proud 58-year member of the Las Vegas community. I'm reaching out today because I care deeply about the future of our city and the future, specifically the future of our students after high school, that those graduates have a direct pathway to workforce training, to meaningful employment, to support themselves and their families, giving worth and value to 12 years of public education. I'm asking you to support AB 238. Thank you, Assemblywoman Jauregui and Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno. Viva DEI. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you so much. Right now, we're going to take Richie, I'll let you go, but then after you, I'm going to go to the phone lines for testimony on the phones.
Thank you. Hello and happy Friday. I'm Richie Work. I'm the business manager of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 357 here in Southern Nevada. And I represent over 4,100 families. And we echo my predecessors on all the reasons that this bill is important to us, not only for IBW, the build, but the after the effects on being on the set for production and construction. and I appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, let's go to the phone lines. AVH, do we have any callers on the phone lines wishing to give testimony in support of AB 238?
To testify in support of Assembly Bill 238, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Caller with the last 3 digits, 217, please press star 6 to unmute. There seems to be an issue, so I'm moving to the next caller.
Hi, this is Peter Guzman, President of the Latin Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to thank the sponsor and co-sponsor for bringing such an important bill forward. I want to echo a lot of my colleagues in respect for time, but I do want to say this. Nevada is a place that understands reinventing itself is important, not only important, but critical. I also realize that shovels in the ground and cranes in the air is exactly what we constantly need in this great state. And that is why the Latin Chamber of Commerce is in full support of this bill. And I urge you to get these shovels in the ground as quickly as we can to keep our community the best it can be. Thank you.
Good afternoon. This is Lizette M. Collins. For the record, President of Nevada Partners, Inc. We are a nonprofit based in North Las Vegas, has proudly served the historic West Side and surrounding communities for over 30 years. I return today to emphasize that AB 238 is more than legislation. It is a catalyst for a cultural and economic movement that will shape the future of Nevada. This represents a once-in-a-generation opportunity to create an inclusive economic ecosystem centered around the film, media, and creative industries. Industries that not only provide high-wage, sustainable careers, but also have the power to define Nevada as a cultural and innovation hub. By investing in this sector, we are not just attracting production, we are building a creative economy that will support small businesses, tourism, technology innovation, and local entrepreneurship. Imagine our community across Nevada becoming destinations for cultural tourism, where the stories created here are not only filmed, but also celebrated here. With the bill, we are creating the foundation for a thriving ecosystem where economic development, tourism, and cultural tourism relevance and intersectionalities. This means that more jobs, more career pipelines in the film production, post-production, emerging technologies, set designs, and creative entrepreneurship that directly benefit our community. We have already laid the groundwork with our Youth Empowerment Center coming to fruition that is creating industry partnerships, but also understanding the vision of creating the workforce for small businesses and engaging our cultural assets as we elevate. This is how we build the future, and our workforce stands ready for communities to thrive economically, for Nevada's cultural identity to take center as a global destination for creative industry. We really need to take lead and take advantage of creating this real, true economic ecosystem that we're already building through the Las Vegas Strip, through sports, through medical tourism. This is another industry that we can be in the forefront. I urge you to really take consideration of this bill and know that as a community, we're coming to really support to build this economic innovation. We thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Vida Lin. I'm with the Asian Community Development Council in Nevada, and we support the AB 238. It would be great for business. It would be great for Nevada. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Renee Clinton, and I am calling in support of
this bill. I do believe that diversifying the economy is what Nevada needs now and also in the future. And I also really understand the trickle-down effect this will have not only on rising students, but small businesses in the area. Thank you for your support.
Hello, this is Carrie Wood Enertson, Executive Director of Government Affairs for SAG-AFTRA. We have over 1,000 members in Nevada who are looking forward to getting back to work. This will be an economic driver and a jobs bill for the state, and we are in full support of this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, AVH. We just actually have gone a little over 30 minutes, and I apologize to those that have come forward here in Carson City and Las Vegas. Didn't realize how many people we'd have on the phones, but always, as always, you're more than welcome to submit any testimony that you have in support in writing, and we can get that up on to Nellis, and we appreciate you coming out today. With that, we'll go ahead and open up testimony in opposition of Assembly Bill 238. We'll go ahead and we will start here in Carson City. And remember, 2 minutes, and remember to state your name.
Alexander Marks with the Nevada State Education Association. Let's set the scene. The Nevada film marquee reads Waste Side Story, directed by Schools Over Studios. Rated F, like our education rankings, for fiscal recklessness and misplaced priorities, where Nevada ranks 47th in per pupil funding with the largest class sizes in the nation. Just one day after this body approved a meager $2 increase in per pupil funding, this body is considering handing $1.65 billion in public money to Hollywood. It sounds like a fantasy film, but in Nevada, it's a documentary. Or perhaps it's a silent film. Despite their passion, educators are being ignored. They're pleading with lawmakers to pass the plan to invest every available dollar in our schools and essential services. But instead, they watch their lawmakers try to funnel money into public dollars to hollow economic development projects like this one. And if it passes, the state of Nevada will lose over $1.3 billion over 15 years. You heard from Guy Hobbs, who's also the chair of the Commission on School Funding. They've provided that roadmap to fully fund our schools. He knows better than anyone that these tax credits don't generate enough revenue for this state and wouldn't help our schools. And in fact, the only mention of the film industry in the plan is related to extending the sales tax to downloading digital movies. But instead of giving that plan the green light and using reserves to meet the $604 million our schools need, it's been shelved for a massive historic subsidy at the worst possible fiscal moment. Nevada education needs the blockbuster budget. Hollywood doesn't need to bankroll its blockbusters with Nevada's budget. You do not solve systemic issues by starving our schools and feeding the rich. So here's the moral of the story. Education is economic development. States with strong public schools attract families, fuel long-term investment, and draw businesses looking for skilled workforce. While our schools are stuck in a tragedy with a financial cliffhanger, the legislature is working hard to ensure Hollywood executives get to walk off with public money and live happily ever after. We say schools over studios because that's the script that should be written. Public funds should serve the public good, not subsidize corporate profits. The credits have not yet rolled on the 83rd session, and this committee has the opportunity to rewrite this ending and put essential services like education at the center of our budget, not on the cutting room floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Brian Wallace, a teacher and Vice President of the Nevada State Education Association, who has been the voice of Nevada educators and our support professionals for 125 years. And NSCA fully believes in schools over studios. We oppose AB 238, which would extend the $1.65 billion in tax giveaways to Hollywood studios over the next 15 years. NSCA has been engaged on all this session on the K-12 budget, asking the legislature to reject the governor's proposed $2 budget. Instead, we called on the governor and the legislature to pass the plan offered by the Commission on School Funding to reach optimal funding for our students. However, yesterday's actions taken in the K-12 Budget Committee indicate that $2 is all Nevada students will get next year. We cannot add arts back to STEM when students stand to lose under this bill and schools now are preparing for cuts. The Commission on School Funding has provided their plan to optimally fund education, a plan the legislature requested. The Commission did not recommend a film tax credit to improve the funding of our schools. That's because, as previously stated, Funding Commission Chair Guy Hobbs knows better than anyone, these tax credits do not generate revenue for the state. We just heard that we stand to lose 80 cents for every dollar invested in this. The budget impacts of the tax credits are real. According to the Economic Forum's projections, Nevada is estimated to lose $119 million in general fund revenue to tax credits this year. That goes up to $148 million next year, with $36 million for the A's before a shovel even hits the ground. In the out year, it then rises to $160 million. These are funds that otherwise could be going to important services, including the education of Nevada's students. In an Emerson College poll of likely Las Vegas voters in 2024, 52% opposed the use of public money for the construction of a baseball stadium. Only 32% were in support. That's 20 points under the water. NSCA is committed to continuing our efforts to make sure that Nevada's priorities are going to align with the people and that those priorities truly assist our students. We urge legislators to reject AB 238 in the strongest possible way. And in the meantime, we hope that the legislature will finally give full consideration to the revenue proposals put forward by your Commission on School Funding. Please pass the plan. Thank you.
My name is Andrew Clark, that is C-L-A-R-K-E. I manage the Revenue Coalition on behalf of New Day Nevada. New Day Nevada is a nonprofit that cares deeply about sustainable revenue streams here in the state of Nevada. This bill would authorize $1.6 billion in general fund money to film tax credits, drawn directly from the general fund. In return, the state would recover just $143 million to the general fund. That is a 91% loss. That's not just speculative, it is their own math. Following the Economic Forum, Nevada faces a $350 million budget shortfall. At the same time, the state is already set to issue $35 million in transferable tax credits this year alone, and that skyrockets up to $86 million in FY 26-27. AB 238 would significantly increase that burden with no meaningful returns. Every dollar we give away from the general fund is money taken away from schools, healthcare, and infrastructure. If you were to loan a friend $1 and they gave you just back 20 cents, you were not paid back. That is a gift. At a time of federal cuts in a poor economic forum, we need to be strategic on the state's investments, and unfortunately, AB 238 does not meet that moment. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, members of the Committee of Ways and Means. For the record, my name is Tess Opferman here on behalf of the Nevada Women's Lobby. We are deeply concerned by this proposal and the intent to take away billions of dollars from Nevada families with a projected rate of return that simply does not make logical sense. Let me review the numbers. These are in the documents created by the proponents of the bill. I am quoting exactly what they have shown us. Over 15 years, the proposal allows for $1.65 billion in tax credits. Meanwhile, the total return of this project shows only 46%. Let me repeat, only 46% of what the state spends will be returned to the state. In 15 years, we will get just over $750 million back. This is a 54% loss on investment. We have this document. It shows clearly in red a negative $895 million on the Summerlin Studios proposal summary of the projected fiscal returns. Additionally, it's a staggering 91% loss on investment to the general fund. Let's look at where this return on investment is going. $385 million to Clark County and LVCVA, $30 million to City of Las Vegas, $22.6 million to other local governments, primarily in southern Nevada. Nearly 60% of the return is going straight to Clark County. How can you tell us this will benefit the whole state when we only get 46% back on the investment, and of that, northern and rural Nevada get just 40%? We face a $350 million shortfall this session and a shaky economic future. How can we possibly entertain this corporate giveaway on the backs of hardworking Nevadans? Please stop the risky investment.
Good afternoon, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Riley Svensson, RYLEYSVENDSEN, and I'm the policy specialist with the Nevada Coalition to End Domestic and Sexual Violence. I will ditto what folks have said and add that victim survivors need support, resources, and consistent funding. We can't achieve that goal without proper investments into our general fund, and if corporations want to move here, they should pay their fair share in taxes and invest in the safety and well-being of our communities. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair. My name is Maurice Washington. I'm with AFP, Americans for Prosperity. And we stand in opposition to the bill as well. I applaud and appreciate the work that has been done by the chair and the leader. The reason why we oppose the bill is not because of the job creation that it creates and the fiscal opportunities that are afforded to it and the economic impact that will be received by our economy. We oppose it based on principle that the market should be the one that picks winners and losers, that the government should not subsidize any specific industry with transferable tax credits, and therefore the purpose of government is to protect the rights of each and individual and the businesses. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We will go to Las Vegas. Is there anyone well, there's already people sitting there. Fantastic. Feel free to begin. We're taking testimony in opposition to Assembly Bill 238.
Good afternoon, Vice Chair Backus and members of the Assembly Committee. My name is Anahit Bakhshetsan. For the record, that is ANAHITBAGHSHETSYN, and I'm a research assistant at Nevada Policy. Today, we come in strong opposition of the bill, and there are several aspects that we're opposing, so I'm going to try to fit it all in 2 minutes. First and foremost, we heard about the educational pipeline that is promised in East Las Vegas. I think it's important to realize that post-secondary education does not guarantee that the professionals are going to stay in our state. Nothing is prohibiting them. On the other hand, actually things are actually encouraging them to move to states like California, Georgia, where studio opportunities are better developed and more permanent. Second, if these professionals are not hired on the stage and all on the productions, there is essentially no repercussions for the studios. It's simple 5% reduction from tax credits. Next, additional tourism and additional revenues on other streams of tourism was mentioned. And we mentioned WrestleMania, but I think WrestleMania compared to a long-term production investment is a little different, because if I'm a tourist coming to Las Vegas, I might have $100 to spend. And instead of going to the Sphere, this time I will opt out spending to Summerlin Studio Tours. So it is not necessarily a new generated spending, rather it is a deterred spending oftentimes. And lastly, this is not a brand new policy. Over 30 states in our nation have different studio tax incentives, and they report their returns every year. In California, $1 spending results in 20 cents of revenues as of the most recent study. In Georgia, it results in 19 cents of revenues. In New York, it results on 15 cents of revenues. In Pennsylvania, 95% of the tax credits are transferred for 95 cents on the dollar. And in Louisiana, the program has a net total of negative 93% ROI. So we cannot base our policy recommendations on shallow promises, but we can base it on existing statistics and make sure that Nevada doesn't go down the wrong road. Please vote no on this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Christian Cardenas, the Director of Grassroots Operations with Americans for Prosperity Nevada, and AFP urges you to oppose AB 238. As Americans for Prosperity strives to create an economy that works for all, empowering people to earn success and realize their potential. As such, AFP supports neutral and impartial tax policies. This includes tax reforms that reduce burdens on Nevadans and Nevada businesses without picking winners and losers or favoring special interests in the tax codes. AB 238 will provide transferable tax credits into eligible motion picture and television productions that are produced at Howard Hughes property-owned Summerlin Production Studios project. Eligible productions must plan to film at least half of all production days in Nevada, hire a representative and diverse workforce, and use minority-owned and women-owned vendors. AB 238 imposes significant applications and compliance requirements on the prospective production studios and credit reductions if diverse hiring goals are not met. Nevada taxpayers could be on the hook for up to $80 million in film tax credits per year. AB 238 is not neutral or impartial tax policy. In fact, it's far from it. This bill picks few winners and numerous losers in Nevada. First, this tax credit would only benefit film and TV productions at the expense of every other Nevada industry. Second, the bill would only benefit, that can commit to spending, hiring, filming, and other requirements and outlined in the bill at the expense of smaller or startup production companies or film projects. Third, AB 238 would only benefit production studio projects and would not benefit Nevadans or Nevada businesses located in more rural or northern areas of the state. As such, The tax credits can only be obtained if production centers around the Summerlin Production Studios project. As a result, Nevada taxpayers from across the state would be subsidizing to the tune of about $80 million annually well-funded film and TV productions operating primarily at single Howard Hughes property projects. While framed as a win for the Nevada economy, AB 238 in reality is simply corporate welfare for the Summerlin Production Studios project. Moreover, film tax credits do not help state or local economies. A 2018 study found that states with film tax credits—
Sir, can you just wrap
only
it up? Thanks.
Well, once again, thank you for your time, and just wanted to urge you to support AB 238. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chairperson, esteemed members of the committee. First off, thank you, every single one of you, for everything you do. Just a couple weeks left, so hang in there. My name is Eddie Diaz, E-D-D-I-E-D-I-A-Z. I am the Strategic Director for the Libre Initiative Nevada, one of the largest Latino organizations dedicated to empowering the Hispanic community in Nevada and across the nation. On behalf of the Libre Initiative, I'm here to express our opposition to Assembly Bill 238. I urge you to oppose AB 238 because it does not serve the best interest of our Latino community and hardworking Nevadans. Our mission is to support policies that create opportunity for all, not just a select few. Unfortunately, AB 238 does the opposite. It favors Hollywood studios and a single project in Las Vegas, leaving out Latino small business owners, workers, and families across the state. Here's why this bill is unfair. $80 million of taxpayer money would go to large film and TV productions, while other industries where many Latinos work get no support. The job it creates are temporary and unstable, disappearing as soon as filming ends. And the tax credits would mostly benefit one location in Summerlin, leaving out businesses and workers in North Las Vegas, Reno, and rural Nevada. Our Latino community deserves the long-term opportunities, not handouts to Hollywood. Nevada should invest in industries that create real, lasting jobs for all, not just a few. For these reasons, the Libre Initiative Nevada strongly opposes AB 238 and urges you to vote against it. Thank you for your time and consideration.
My name is John Sarpalas, that's spelled T-S-A-R-P-A-L-A-S, and I'm the president of Nevada Policy Research Institute. Let's think about a child about to go into kindergarten. For the next 15 years, K through 8, high school, and part of college, if they should be able to get into it, because our schools are actually producing children who can't read and don't know their math. You're going to take $100 million a year away from the potential for their education. You're affecting this whole generation, and you're going to give it to 2 billion, multi-billion-dollar corporations? What? Who do you represent? We've heard that this never pays for itself. The money does not come back. And lastly, let's think about the future of the movie industry, which is currently on shaky ground. Streaming is hurting their revenue, and artificial intelligence is about to replace the need for movie studios. They're going to produce movies in one little room with an AI computer, and there's no need for studios 10 years from now. Please think about the future of who this really affects. Thank you.
Good afternoon, members of the committee. My name is Cyrus Hojjati, H-O-J-J-A-T-Y. This has been getting a lot of bipartisan opposition. I am the local chapter leader of Strong Towns, Las Vegas, and here is why I come in opposition. Because based on where this movie studios are being planned, on the west side of the valley, when you give tax breaks, that means a lot of the infrastructure. Our organization deals with transportation, land use. This means that these high-capacity arterial roads, or stroads is what I call them, are likely going to have to be paid by other taxpayers. So when you think about it, this is why companies have to pay taxes, because they have to pay for the car, pedestrian, bicycle, and transit infrastructure that come along with it. Let's take a look at
what's happened previously with similar proposals. When you look at, there's been 3 stadiums that have been built or proposed in the last 10 years. The so-called Tropicana, correct me if I'm wrong, has been paid by the gas taxes, but yet demand surged because of these events. So we believe this is a very regressive system that likely the cost will be put into lower income individuals and small businesses. Let's talk about the quiet part out loud, why these film studios are looking to move here. It's simply because the state of California, the state I was born in, is having horrible policies that are encouraging so many companies and opportunities to move out. And we're very deeply concerned because, again, a lot of these we feel that the media elites are responsible because they supported it and now they want to get out. Let me give you an example. Bill Maher, he talked about how it's so difficult to put a solar panel on his roof. So we believe that we're just concerned that this will create a chain reaction effect. And we do not want that. And we have to learn from why these movie studios and other industries are definitely moving out. We don't want to be some kind of a lifeline. So we support efforts to diversify our economy, but this is not the way to do it. This is just wrapped around with empty promises,
Mr.
nice
Hajati,
words.
if you can wrap up, that'd be great.
3 seconds. Thank you so much, and I urge you to vote no on this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we will go to the phone lines. AVH, is there anyone on the phone lines wishing to give testimony in opposition to Assembly Bill 238?
To testify in opposition to Assembly Bill 238, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue.
Hi, my name is Katrine Ivanov, IVANO. I'm in strong opposition of this bill for many reasons. First of all, I want to ask all the voting legislatures, how many of you would put your own money in the investment that will give you 80% loss guarantee? If you will not invest your own money this way, why would you do that with the taxpayers' money? I do not believe that's why we can do there. Second of all, if the industry needs a tax break so bad to come here to work, why are they having the option to sell the tax break? That should never be an option. That creates so many problems, it's not even funny. Please go to donothollywoodmynevada.com. I am all for bringing diversity. Yes, ma'am?
Yeah, I was just going to have you, when you started speaking, we couldn't hear you that well. If you can say loudly your name and spell it, that'd be helpful. Thank you.
Okay, can I start from the beginning? Because I don't know what you heard and what you didn't.
We got the gist of your opposition testimony. I just need you to state your name and spell it and just speak a little loudly because when you started, we couldn't really hear your name.
Okay, my name is Katrine Ivanov, IVANOFF. In short, if you're not going to invest your money where you're going to have 80% guarantee loss, please don't invest the taxpayer money that way. Second of all, if you're going to give tax breaks for an industry, that industry should not be allowed to be selling those tax breaks. If they need the tax breaks in order to work here, they should not have an option to sell it. If they're selling it, that means they don't need it. Third of all, if you're going to bring Hollywood into Nevada, please first pass laws that protect our youth. Everybody's talking about the youth, but we don't have laws that protect our youth, and we know how predatory Hollywood is. Just looking in almost every childhood star ends up crazy on drugs or suicidal very early in their adult life. Look, Britney Spears, Justin Bieber, Kanye West, the samples are a lot. They just go crazy. So we need to protect kids because kids get abused in this industry. We all know that. Please vote no. And I did all the other testimony from American for Prosperity, Nevada Police Research Institute, and everybody that was in opposition. Thank you and have a lovely day.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Shelby Swartz, Shelbie Swartz, and I am the Executive Director of Battleborn Progress. We are here in strong opposition to AB 238. Nevada entered this session already bleeding. Our schools are underfunded, our hospitals are overwhelmed, and families are barely staying afloat as rents rise and wages stagnate. Now, with the Economic Forum projecting a $350 million budget shortfall, we're being told the state still has money, just not for us. We've been told this is a once-in-a-generation opportunity, but how many times have we heard that line in this building? Where are the generational investments in Nevada's families, teachers, nurses, or kids? Why is it always the billionaires who get theirs up front and at a 91% loss of return on investment to the general fund? We need trickle-down economics fail time and time again, and it won't work here, especially not as we face the very real risk of a recession. There is no such thing as a recession-proof job, but there is such a thing as a well-funded government who can help people during the hard times. That's what people rely on when things get tough. Thank you so much for your time today, and I hope you all will reject this bill.
Hello. Oh, excuse me. Hello. Good afternoon. For the record, my name is Sean Navarro. I live in Las Vegas. I'm the chair of Las Vegas Democratic Socialists of America, grassroots organization, with over 400 members in Las Vegas. I'm here in opposition to AB 238. To be honest, it's tough for me personally. As a proud AMC Stubs Rewards members, I love the movies. I think it would be really great to bring the film industry to Nevada, but not at this high cost. Like other people mentioned before, we are facing some very serious decisions when it comes to our budget, especially when it comes to services, very essential services like Medicaid, like education. And I don't think the time's right to give money to billion-dollar corporations at the expense of these services that are so important to the people of Nevada. I'm very wary of getting involved with Warner Brothers, a company that famously engaged in union-busting tactics during the Writers Guild strike, a company that's paying billions of dollars to its CEO at the expense of the film industry as a whole. Hollywood already has too many reboots, and this is a reboot of corporate welfare at the expense of Nevada taxpayers. And I have to say, it's very tough to oppose this bill, seeing such strong union support. And I'm really moved personally by hearing their testimony. I want to see these folks get jobs. They are hard workers, and they're just trying to do the best by their families. And I would really challenge our legislature to find ways to put our taxpayers in putting these folks to work. But I do not understand why this has to come at the cost of giving so much to multi-billion-dollar corporations when we could be fixing our roads, rebuilding our schools, building public housing. There's so many better ways to create jobs. It will create jobs, but at such a high cost and it's such an inefficient way to the state. And at the end of the day, is handout to billion corporations. So thank you so much for your time, and I strongly encourage you all to oppose this bill. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, Ways and Means Committee. My name is Shawina Timms, Shawina, last name Timms, T as in Tom, IMS, and I'm an educator and a resident of Nevada. I am opposing AB 238, giving away public money to private enterprises while our public schools and other public services remain so chronically underfunded. With the governor's budget increasing education funding by only $2 per pupil and the possibility of hundreds of millions in federal education cuts, now is not the time for this Hollywood handout. Nevada students and educators are being told to do more with less, while out-of-state corporations stand to benefit from a billion-dollar tax giveaway. Nevada made real progress in 2023 by increasing education funding by $2 billion. Now in 2025, that increase has been slashed to just $2 per pupil. The legislature cannot keep prioritizing corporate tax breaks over our kids' futures. More handouts for studios mean less funding for classroom, teacher salaries, and student resources. The legislature needs to reject this misguided, economically debunked proposal. Instead, they should pass the plan recommended by the Commission on School Funding, a real solution that invests in Nevada schools and students. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. And just for timekeeping, we will go to our last caller.
Caller with the last three digits, 026, please press star 6 to unmute.
Good morning, good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Cassie Charles, that's CASSIECHARLES, representing AFSCME, AFS, CME, and the several thousand hardworking state employees that would be directly affected by the decades-long budget deficit that would be perpetuated by AB 238. Year after year, we see state employees take the brunt impact of economic shortfalls. Our state employees are already some of the lowest paid public workers in the country. We cannot support a risky and costly billion-dollar handout to Hollywood corporations, while the workers who support our state each day are struggling to make ends meet. AB 238 is fiscally irresponsible. We are asking you to please stand with state employees and public sector workers and oppose AB 238. Thank you.
Thank you. And anyone else that's on the phone lines or that wish to provide testimony in opposition, please feel free. You can submit that to the committee for publication on our Nellis website. So with that, I will move to neutral testimony. I'll go ahead and take neutral testimony here in Carson City. Anyone wishing to give testimony in the neutral to Assembly Bill 238, please make your way forward. It doesn't look like anyone's here. Is there anyone up in Las Vegas wishing to give testimony in the neutral to Assembly Bill 238? Doesn't look like it. AVH, is there anyone on the phone lines wishing to give testimony in the neutral to Assembly Bill 238?
To testify in neutral to Assembly Bill 238, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue.
Hi, my name is Asher Garduno, ASHERGARDUNO. I am a UNLV film student in strong support of Bill AB 238. I feel like not only does it, will it help our economic
Mr. Gardino,
growth.
I totally appreciate your testimony and support. We'll obviously mark you down as someone in support, but I would encourage you to go ahead and send your remarks in writing to our committee, and that way we can share them with the committee members. Thank you, but we are in the neutral. AVH, is there anyone else on the phone lines wishing to give testimony in the neutral to Assembly Bill 238?
Chair, there are no additional callers for neutral testimony.
Thank you. And then with that, we can go ahead back to our bill sponsors for any closing remarks.
Thank you, Vice Chair and members of the committee. Over the course of this hearing, we've heard concerns that film tax credits divert resources away from education and healthcare. Let me be clear, that is a false choice. Assembly Bill 238 is not about taking from one sector to fund another. It's about investing in Nevada's future, creating good-paying jobs and driving long-term economic growth that will ultimately strengthen our ability to fund these essential public services. The facts speak for themselves. The legislation will generate nearly $3 billion in annual economic activity. That is WrestleMania 15 times a year. It will create 19,000 union construction jobs and nearly 18,000 permanent jobs. It will invest nearly $2 billion in private capital investment, not taxpayer dollars, private capital investment to construct the studios. And for those concerned about the education funding, 24% of the tax revenue generated will go directly to the state education fund. That is nearly $200 million. That is money that would not exist without this industry's presence. There will also be the statutory investment in order for the tax credits to be drawn down of $8 million to build the Nevada Partners Vocational Training Studios, the $6 million investment in Clark County to create an art and film related training initiatives, the statutory requirement to spend $400 million in construction by June 30th, 2028 to qualify for tax credits, and the $500 million per year spent on production and content creation just by Sony and Warner Brothers, not including the non-infrastructure production investment. Assembly Bill 238 is structured to provide long-term benefits for the state of Nevada. I want to thank you, Vice Chair and members of the committee, for hearing Assembly Bill 238. And with that, I will turn it over to my co-presenter.
Thank you so much, Danielle Monroe-Moreno. For the record, there's not much more to be said. I want to thank those that came out in support and even those that were in opposition of the bill. As I said when we started, you had an amendment before you today that was presented in the policy committee, and there is still work to be done on this bill, as you've heard. But as we sit in these chairs, and we've sat in these chairs, an economic downturn during the pandemic that we had no control over. And we're looking at an economic downturn right now that's man-made. We also had a hearing not long ago where we talked about economic downturns, but we also talked about revenue drivers. And to date, I haven't seen any of those other revenue driver suggestions that was in that 4-hour meeting that we had. We have a responsibility to look at how we diversify our economy, how we bring additional revenue in. A lot of the opposition talked about giving away the state's money. We're asking in this bill for the industry to make an investment in the state of Nevada. There are other tax credit programs in other states where they come in and they film a movie and they leave. In this bill, they're actually building a studio, a village in our state. An investment in our state, an investment in our workers, an investment that will put money back into that education system. You know, we are only able to do a $2 increase, not a $2 slash, but a $2 increase. We have a responsibility to find ways to diversify our revenue streams in the state of Nevada. And as the fiscal leader of this committee, I would never have put my name on a bill if I didn't believe that it provided a pathway for us to do that. Is there more work to do on this bill? There definitely is. But I think working together, we can get it right for Nevada, for Nevada's workers, and for our students. Thank you so much for hearing AB 238.
Thank you. Chair, would you like us to take a moment, or do you want me to start going in public comment? Okay, sounds good. I'll go ahead and start with public comment here in Carson City. Those wishing to give public comment today, please make your way forward. I don't think he's trying. Okay, we'll go to Las Vegas. And also remember, we've already closed the bill on AB 238, so this is the time for public comment. Go ahead.
Before I begin, I just want to talk about if I had my own studio, if that's okay. If it's just a wish, may I go on? CYRUS HOJJATY. If I had my own television studio here in Las Vegas, I'd have my own Price is Right show, Las Vegas style. Oh, that would be so wonderful with my suit walking in and cashing prizes. And you know what we also should have?
Mr. Hajati.
A Nevada legislature.
While very witty, and I appreciate it on Assembly Bill 238, if you'd like to put that in writing and please submit it, you can do that. But right now it's just public comment. So public comment is anything that's pertinent to Ways and Means, but not pertinent to AB 238 because we've gone ahead and closed the hearing on AB 238.
All right. I think you got my point. Saturday Night Live. Thank you so much. Nevada legislature style.
Next public comment in Las Vegas.
Thank you, Acting Chair Backus and the committee for allowing me to speak. I'll be brief. My name's Eric Guiding, ERIC-GUIDENG, and I'm coming here as a product of the state of Nevada's investment in the education system. From grade 1 to 12, I attended CCSD, and I went to UNLV. And I went to UNLV by joining the Nevada National Guard. And so I'm an investment through Nevada National Guard for my higher system education with Nevada system of higher education. So for 18 years, the state of Nevada has invested in me. And that has allowed me to enter the workforce in the film industry as a producer and also a member of SAG-AFTRA. And I just want to say that I support anything the committee does that allows me, an investment of the state, to go forward and work in the state of Nevada. Because Nevada has invested so much in me that I want to keep it here in Nevada. But if there's no industry here in Nevada for me to work in, I have to take Nevada's investment somewhere else, California, New York. And so I support anything that the Ways and Means does.
Sir, thank you so much. With respect to any comments pertinent to AB 238, I strongly encourage you just go ahead and submit those in writing. The time right now is about public comment. So anything not pertinent to AB 238, and we're just doing that right now. So I thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Okay, public comment. You guys are awesome. That's all. I really appreciate all the effort that goes in making this place available.
Thank you, sir. Can you state your name for the record?
Chris Burris, Boeres. I just wanted to thank you again for all the efforts. I got here at 7:30. You've been here earlier than that, and you do it every day, all these months. So thank you.
We appreciate that. Next, we'll go to AVH. AVH, is there anyone on the phone lines wishing to give public comment this morning?
To provide public comment, please press *9 now to take your place in the queue.
Hi, Chair and committee members. This is Katrin Ivanov, IVAN, Frank. I just wanted to say thank you for trying to bring more opportunities to Nevada and diversify it. But also please go to donothollywoodmynevada.com to get more information about the unintended consequences.
Ma'am, we just want to say thank you. I know you gave testimony and support, and you're kind of giving us some support testimony again. This is the time for public comment, which doesn't pertain to the bill, Assembly Bill 238. We're just taking public comment. So anything that is within the jurisdiction of Ways and Means, that's kind of what we're doing right now.
Okay. I just wanted, because I forgot to re-say that and you guys couldn't hear me, I wanted to make sure that it's on the record, the website that you can go to find more information. And for the Ways and Means Committee, please think about the unintended consequences and don't spend our money frivolously. You guys want to tax us more in this session.
We did get your testimony, so at this time, AVH, can we go to the next
not just for that
comment?
bill.
Can we go to the next caller? Thank you.
Hi, everyone. This is Emmy Award-winning, Billboard-winning Eric Maurice McCoy. I am a local here in Vegas, and this plan is needed for my brothers in the 720, for my brothers in the other unions that are collectively here.
Sir, we've already closed the hearing on Assembly Bill 238. We would encourage you to submit any comments that you have in writing, but we went ahead and did testimony in support and in opposition and neutral, so that this time we're just taking public comments within the scope of Ways and Means.
Right, yeah, and with Ways and Means, we need this. So it's a great plan that's put together. Of course, it needs more work, and we can do that. We just have to put our elbows and pins to the paper and make a better thing that works out better for everyone.
Thank you, sir. We'll go to the next caller, please. Thanks.
Chair, there are no additional callers for public comment.
Thank you so much. With that, we finish our last item on the agenda, and this concludes our hearing this morning. Thank you.